Hello, and welcome to the Flow and Rally podcast. Name TBD. We're open to suggestions, but that's our current name. I'm Jordan, and this is Will, my co-founder, and we are the hosts and co-founders of Flow and Rally and WoFlow.com. This is a weekly podcast we're putting together to really just enlighten our friends, our WoFlow family on what's going on in our minds, what's going on in the news, and how it pertains to WoFlow. I'm going to just go ahead and kick things right off with our first topic, and that is robots.
Oh, I love that.
Robots. Here we go. Bear Robotics. So this week, Chili's, the store that Chili's, the store that we do, the restaurant we do love, great cheeseburgers. They have decided to stop their pilot with Bear Robotics with some interesting highlights. Basically, the whole point of Bear Robotics is to replace some of the staff there, and I think at the end of the pilot, they've determined that the bottom line is not actually being affected. So, how effective are these robots at these restaurants? Will, what's your take?
I think robots are awesome. I think there should be more robots. So definitely pro robot over here. I can see it though looking really weird and stupid. I've not been to a Chili's in a very long time, so I haven't seen one of these robots.
They got great baby back ribs.
I was just traveling actually. I saw robots in Bangkok airport this week. Their cleaners are robots driving around, which I thought was pretty awesome. So it seems to be working for cleaning. But yeah, do you want to interact with your HP sauce coming from a robot or your ketchup, or do you want a human? Who knows?
I don't know.
We're getting rid of humans in a lot of the restaurant experience. Like
interesting
some things.
Interesting timing, actually. Today I was meeting with the CEO of Chef. They're a robotics company, and he had a pretty good line. It takes a lot to create robots for the in-store experience, so that's in the restaurants. They took a different approach, and they're going for food manufacturing because you can really just kind of like fit into one thing in a like conveyor belt environment, whereas in a restaurant you're interacting with a ton of different environments, a lot of different people. It just takes a lot more. So very interesting to see where this goes, but apparently the bottom line, not affected by Chili's.
Yeah, it's a shame. I love the Kiwi robot you see driving around as well.
Oh yeah, I love that.
That's pretty cool.
Next topic, DoorDash. And we love DoorDash. They did, unfortunately, this week have a data breach. It seemed to be relatively small in terms of what was actually affected, but it did come from one of their vendors. I feel like nowadays data breaches of these sorts just happens all the time. Like I almost expect to get some of my email, like get my email address or my phone number stolen from, it's out there in like 1,000 different applications.
Yeah, and I will say with this one, the bit that kind of gets me thinking is it's a vendor of theirs. We are a vendor to a bunch of large enterprises. The bigger the enterprise, I guess the bigger the honeypot for hackers. So working with large enterprises, you've got to also wonder at some point there might be an exposure risk or something like that. Luckily, at the moment, we don't have any real data that a hacker might want to get that we pass to our customers. But over time, you've got to think about how you get on top of your security with these things.
Was the vendor Twilio? It doesn't say, but
no,
it kind of
hints. Say who the vendor is. So I'm not sure who it was. We can ask them. I also saw today LastPass just got hacked, which should be like
really
thing.
bad. Yeah,
that's a bit scary.
I do use them. Our next topic, and not all of our topics are going to be applicable to everybody watching this. Also, we have no idea who's going to watch this, so we're just kind of throwing a bunch of stuff in here for this first one, seeing what people like. It's also raw and unedited, so whatever we say, we say. and that is Crawly, which the reason I like it is because it is created by Appify, who most of you don't know, but it's what we use for our underlying infrastructure for web crawling. And they have, I suppose this is their Appify 3.0, and they've rebranded this open source library as Crawly. I wanted to point this out here because I think everything Appify does is really, really awesome. They've simplified a lot of my life, and internally, Anton and Artem on our web crawling team as well. They're loving it. So just wanted to point this one out. Also, we're going to have some show notes after this, so everything we talk about will be put into links. So if people want to go investigate and explore afterwards, they can. Okay, this next one, Photosonic, very exciting. It's a new instance of, or a new usage of, it's not Dolly, but it's what is it, Diffusion? What is that? What it is? Diffusion something? I guess we'll get to that in a little bit. But they kind of take the AI art world and kind of make it like much easier to use. I'm gonna go ahead and, oh yeah, there's some interesting ones that I put in there, but I'm gonna go ahead and I have a one that I tried earlier. Oil painting of a sloth. Whoops. Oh yeah, couple. Just tried it earlier.
Nice.
I'm trying to look at weird things. So did I mess it up?
It's super interesting that there's so many of these kind of sites coming out at the moment. I think it's really interesting. That's so funny.
And this is, I want to use this example. It's clearly like no one has. Well, it kind of looks like somebody has drawn this, but it's not. It's computer generated. And I just threw in thruple just to like see what would happen. And I got some interesting results. Okay, that one didn't work. We tried again. So I did it before, and I got a sloth thruple, and it was amazing. And I just, yes, all right, we got 3.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
They look pretty happy in their thruple as well.
Yeah, they're thrupling pretty hard.
Yeah,
cool.
I think it's pretty interesting. There's so many use cases for this kind of technology. We're at the moment using it for like really dumb stuff, but I can definitely see some really interesting use cases. I'm not sure to what degree we would be using it for images or photos, but yeah, really cool products coming out at the moment.
Yeah, they're so cool and so realistic that it causes some ethical dilemmas. And that brings us to our next topic, deepfake ethics. What do we got for deepfake ethics here? Uncensored AI art model prompts ethics questions. So this is a big dilemma, and people don't really know exactly how it's going to be handled. Will and I were just at a program in Stanford, and we actually had a few lectures that kind of spoke to this a little bit. And they're really relying on our generation to figure out how to handle these ethics, because the systems, the models that are being created, it's very hard to censor them. You're literally just training these models on everything on the internet. And as we all know, there's a lot of things on the internet that are not good. You know, a lot of not suitable for work imagery, but also you couple that with you know, real politicians or celebrities, and you're able to do some, you know, some pretty inappropriate things that can cause a lot of harm in the world. I'm trying to see. I think there was maybe I thought there was an image on here. Obviously not a bad image, but kind of showed you that it's able to apply, you know, celebrities or politician faces and put them on different things. And one of the fears is once these deepfake videos become so realistic that you really can't detect them as a deepfake, there's going to be a lot of problems in the world. You know, being able to, I think it was like a stupid example, but one of the examples is like they rendered President Obama doing, like, speaking about how he had a smelly butt or something, and it was like pretty real, but they made it innocent, but they made it just a way to show that this is something that actually can be used on either side of the parties.
Yeah, I think it's interesting as well that it's not just like deep fakes, but the way this data is trained is like naturally biased. So I play around with OpenAI's text prompter as well, and with that it can go pretty dark pretty quickly, and that's because the internet is very unfiltered and there's a lot of stuff on the internet, and so it's all being trained on all this thing. All the image ones are as well, so you do start seeing some crazy images as well when you're using those AI platforms. So super super weird. The ethics behind it is gonna be, as you say, for people to figure out, but still very bullish on the use cases of all these products. I think there's some super cool ideas. We were talking the other day, the AI for deep fakes being used on movies to make real life dubbing happen on movies. So you can watch a movie in French that was recorded in Japanese, and not only is it just like sound dubbed, but the movement of the mouth and everything like that is actually using AI. So it actually looks like this person's fluent in French or whatever it is. And I think that's a super cool use case for things like this.
Yeah, this recording is actually just a picture of me, and then I've just typed out all of the words for it. So this is a great use case of it as well. Cool. My next topic here, it's a huge one. We could probably spend an entire day on this, but I wanted to throw it just because it's like such a monster topic right now, and that's T-Mobile partnering with Starlink. Really, really awesome, really cool. Starlink is Elon's baby, allowing for the internet to be accessible over the entire planet. So there shouldn't be any dead zones, really. That's satellite based. I think partnering with kind of is the first true use case. Aside, I know they did launch it out in Ukraine, which is awesome. They were able to kind of expedite that to help everyone in Ukraine. But this is kind of the first commercial use case that is being announced, and I think it's going to be the first of many.
Yeah, huge fan. I'm a T-Mobile user. I get stick all the time for not being on Verizon or something. But when I go overseas, I get free 5 gig of high-speed internet. So in Thailand, I've been using my phone like there's no problem. This is going to expand that to, I guess, the deepest, darkest rainforest somewhere. So super cool. I saw the tweet yesterday from Elon saying this is, V3 of Starlink is going mobile. Super cool. Used to not be able to get it like moving. You could only apply for Starlink if you were having a static dish put somewhere, so you couldn't have it if you were going like out in sort of hashtag van life. I think this makes that now like a new reality, which is really cool. So excited that he does this. It is Elon, so when he says starting next year, I think you have to take that with a huge grain of salt.
Yeah,
he's not known for hitting his timelines, but
he will hit them, just not the timeline. Cool. The next topic here is Converse Now. What are they?
Big fans.
Big fans. We know them. Great people.
They're craft Polka.
They are. Oh, I forgot about that.
They did their Series A.
They just bagged another 10 million. So I just raised 10 million. The reason I wanted to bring this up is when we spoke to them, their core, their value add, like what they are doing is they're bringing AI as a conversation of ordering. So being able to actually order something through a user interface that isn't visual but is audible. And when we talk to them, one of their biggest problems is still, how do you get the data? How do you structure the data? And then how do you use that data to create the orders that are being created verbally? And so for us, it's still like when we see these things pop up, this company bagged another 10 million. We still understand the underlying problem that they all have. It's a fundamental problem that all of these companies have, and it makes us excited to know that we are solving one of these fundamental problems. That they are applying a different value add on top of it, but they're still stuck with this problem that we are solving. Very cool.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I think they're a great company. Excited to see that they're continuing their progress. Bagging money in this environment is testament to what they're accomplishing. So I'm
Do you
excited.
think they actually just bagged it, or do you think it was like a
I've heard some people bagging recently. Yeah, I've heard some people
yeah,
bagging recently
nice.
on the VC holiday schedule. So it's pretty cool.
It's impressive. So this is just a product that I found. Just I guess a high level of how we find these topics. Will and I read tech news every day. We also go on Product Hunt, Hacker News, and so that's kind of how we find all these things. So this is a mix of not just news, but like random products that we find that we think are interesting or we think are stupid and we want to share with other people because they're funny. This one I'm like unsure about. I'm not sure if it's actually that cool or if it's just kind of like, I don't know. I can't really figure it out. But it's a new way to take screenshots. And so let me see. How do I do it? I think it's like that. Oh yeah, cool. I'll just like take this screenshot and then it pops up this thing as opposed to what we're used to as like a native pop-up. And so this kind of gives you the ability to make it prettier. You can do some insets and padding.
Ooh, I like that.
And yeah, if I paid for it, it would remove this watermark.
Fiona
And I
has
believe you can
all over
actually,
that.
I think you can actually use your own watermark as well. So it's just a way to take a quick screenshot, maybe clean it up a tiny bit before you throw it in Slack or you throw it in email or whatever. So I guess it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think that's cool. Like we put a lot of decks together, and for decks, you generally, if you're taking a screenshot of your web page or something like that, you want the corners like this. You want like the blurred background. You want all these kind of features, and it's not like that easy to do. So if you're making a bunch of decks, I actually imagine this could be super lightweight, super quick for you to just quickly be able to chuck on a shadow, chuck on some radius corners, and just like get rolling. I think that's cool.
All right. So Will is a customer. I'm still on the fence. I don't think I'm going to buy it yet. I think all the screenshots I take go right to Slack on the engineering group. So I don't think I need to throw some prettiness at them.
The nerds don't need
Yeah. These nerds don't need the pretty stuff. We just need just give me the deets. Cool. My next topic here is on Dutchie. Dutchie, as many of you was it's a cannabis delivery service is kind of how I know it originally. It's a marketplace, but they are coming out, or they have come out with their own point of sale platform, which is really, really cool. But it kind of got me thinking about why they need their own point of sale system. I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of the of dispensaries and the cannabis industry, but it seems like the point of a point of sale system is to kind of have more of a universal way to have a catalog and be able to interact with that catalog sales either through that point of sale system or maybe use that as a source of truth and then be able to sell that data online as well. So yeah, what are your thoughts, Will, on doing a point of sale system in a very niche?
I think it's definitely come out of someone's pain point. What I imagine, similar to how a lot of places have issues not being able to accept anything but cash, is probably more closely related. Not that they want to necessarily build hardware, but out of maybe Square doesn't actually allow you to sell weed and use their POS. I wouldn't be surprised. So I imagine this has come out of someone's pain point, probably to do with regulation and zoning, and they've taken a pretty smart business decision to say, you know what, we want to do this. We want to better offer this service to people. It then not only unlocks like in-store payments and like a nicer experience, but you can theoretically expect that this will then expand to like, where else should this data go, right? Like different online ordering channels, different search and discovery channels. This could become a hub, a source of truth, if you will, for a weed store. So super interesting. Not only that, they also need high quality data to run this kind of thing. So I think it's really cool. They're showing that doubling down on something here. And I think looking behind the hardware, I don't think this is like they want to compete with Square with beautiful hardware, even though it looks pretty cool. I think it's probably more to do with like the regulation side that's limiting other POS companies.
I didn't really think of that on the regulation side. What went to my mind was Slice kind of coming out with their own system, because
that's right.
understand the idea of, or I guess the concept of pizza data is typically not compatible with point of sale, like typical point of sale systems. So that's why they had to come out with their own.
Whereas your spliff or your blunt is probably pretty standard data to have. So
I don't know. Maybe like a pizza, you can be like, I want half this and half of this in my blunt, or my
right side of blunt.
Yeah. Moving on. I'm actually gonna skip a couple things here. I'm gonna move right on to Eraser. Again, just another product shout out. I think it's actually pretty cool. I'm just gonna go right over here. Essentially, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a new whimsical for engineering teams. The reason I say that is because they have a really nice way. Let's see, I have like a test thing. And they have a really nice way to make model diagrams. And you can actually do it from, let's see, you can do diagram as code entity relationships. So you can actually do it from what engineers are used to. We use Whimsical a lot. I think actually our product and design team use it more than the engineers at the moment, because we use it for a lot of mockups. But I think now that we're able to do a little bit more like entity diagrams, maybe this can be kind of the new Whimsical. So give it a try.
Nice.
Yeah. And finally, for me, I know Will has something he wants to put at the end, and I don't even know what it is, so I'm excited for that. But for me, the last thing here is Timeos. And the reason I want to bring this up is I actually think it's a pretty good product. It's got some bugs that I've noticed, but it's a way to interact with both your Google Calendar and your Notion to be able to organize notes better. So it knows what meetings you have coming up. So if I open up a new tab, this is a terrible example because I have no more meetings coming up today. But what usually comes up here is a little button, and it says you're either in this meeting or your meeting is next, or this is the next meeting. And so it immediately gives you a notepad to be able to take notes. And when you save it, it automatically saves into a calendar view in Notion. So you're able to go through in Notion and see all of your notes in a calendar view. So it's basically like going through your day and it's being able to see all of your notes side by side. You can filter through it. It's like a really nice, seamless integration. When I say seamless, it's seamless when it works. I have noticed quite a bit of bugs. And
make a new tab now.
What was that?
Put a new tab out there now. I just invited you to something. See if it works. No.
Wait.
Okay. No. Game over.
All right, buggy. Let's see if it's connected. That says connected. Let me try one more time. All right.
Sweet.
Fail.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, okay. Meet me. I'm gonna open my note. I'm gonna say hello. Cool, and then I can export it. I think even if I don't click export, I think it exports anyway.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice. I use the side-by-side view where I'm my Notion and I have my Zoom, whereas this looks like a whole thing. Yeah, that's nice.
If I go in here, you can kind of see my notes. Boom. You can see I don't use it yet. I'm really just experimenting with it.
Yeah. Let us know.
Cool. All right, Willie boy, what do you got? What do you got to take us home?
Awesome. If you want to pull up my screen, that would be wonderful.
Do it.
So I thought, when Jordan approached me with this idea, it was like to talk through the news. We are always saving things, interesting articles, sharing them with the team. So walking through it for 20 minutes or so, I thought was a great idea. One of the things I do see a lot, because I read a lot of Twitter, I follow a lot of, entrepreneurs, founders, CEOs, VCs, plenty of shit posters as well. Like this Greg guy, he's a pretty good shit poster. But what I do see is I get similar memes for different topics, to predominantly to do with VCs and founders. So I started saving some of those memes. So I wanted to walk through some of these with Jordan and get his hot takes on them. This one got shared recently. This Ryan Gosling, Steve, what's his face picture. These are the memes that people have attached to it. CTO and CEO. Yeah, it's fair.
Fair.
Twitter versus Instagram. Yeah, fair. Microsoft Word, Notion.
Ooh,
Pretty fair.
I don't know.
Using a
I could
Calendly
dress them up
versus
differently for that one.
oh yeah, using Calendly versus having an EA. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I like that.
Calendly is cool though.
Yeah.
IT and sales. Yeah.
I don't use Calendly anymore. I use Motion.
Shout out to Motion. Yeah. Shout out to
Ethan.
IT sales. I think that's good. I think this was what actually was the meme that kicks it all off. 2022 menswear telling 2011 about how the tables are turning. It's so true. This guy on the left looks very current right now. You're an LP worth a ton of money versus the VC associate. I think that's
classic.
Left, bootstrap founder doing 80 million in ARR, owning 100% of the company. Right, a YC founder raised 55 million on a 30 mil cap, pre-product, pre-revenue. This is a good one as well. Right, the CEO who took out 50 million in secondaries in a crazy growth round in 2021. Left, the VP of sales who still has to hit the crazy plan the CEO came up with.
Oh yeah. That's a sad one.
This is for you, Nick.
That's a sad one.
That's it.
Good ending. Solid ending. Well, thanks to everyone for watching this or listening to this podcast, video cast. I actually still don't know what it's called. The video vlog, maybe. It's undecided. But hopefully you guys liked it. We would love feedback. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Again, this is very raw, uncut. Maybe in the future we'll add some fun things. Maybe we'll get a producer. Maybe Carito will be our producer. We don't know. Figure it out. But yeah, thanks everyone, and have a lovely evening, morning, or afternoon.
Bye-bye.